Hey beauties, welcome to my channel. Today we have an epic concealer showdown. That's right, we are starting 2026 off strong with a battle of the concealers. We have the new Chanel Le Teint Concealer. We have the new concealer from Prada, and we have one from Miss Charlotte Tilbury herself. If you want to know which one of these concealers is best for your skin type and the pros and cons of each one, then please make sure you stay till the end to hear my final thoughts and to see a full demo and comparison of these three concealers. And if you haven't already, I would really hope that you would consider subscribing. We have so much fun on this channel, so many fun makeup reviews coming up, and we're a growing community of beauty lovers and friends, and we would seriously love to have you. So please make sure you hit the little subscribe button, and let's get this party started. Okay, beauties, so we have an epic showdown of concealers. First, Chanel released a beautiful, stunning, waterproof concealer, the Chanel Le Teint Concealer, which became an instant favorite of mine. But then Prada was like, oh no, you're not having the spotlight. We're going to release our very first concealer ever. And then Miss Charlotte Tilbury said, no, darlings, I'm going to release a concealer that's going to give you a run for your money. And you may be wondering, which concealer is worth your money, which one is worth your time, and which one should you not even go near? So I'm going to help you today figure out which concealer is worth your time, worth your money, and best for your skin type and your skin needs. So let me tell you a little bit of information about each concealer, compare the three, and then I will show you a demo of each concealer so you can decide which one is best for you. So I'm going to give you a breakdown of each of the concealers, and then we're going to do a little bit of a demo of each one, and I'm going to let you know which one is best if you have dry skin, oily skin, mature skin, all of that stuff. We're going to talk about it. So let's talk about the Chanel Le Teint Concealer, and I do have a full review and demo of this concealer on my channel if you want to check it out after you're done watching this video, but let's talk about the specifics. So the Chanel Concealer is a high-performance and waterproof concealer that provides up to 12-hour wear and hydration, and it also provides buildable medium to full coverage. It is supposed to diminish the appearance of imperfections, wrinkles, fine lines, and dark circles. So this is enriched with 3 complexes, the first of which is supposed to awaken the appearance of dull complexions and leave your skin looking rested. It also has an ultra wear complex and an amino acid derivative that allows the concealer to adhere to your skin, and it has a hydration boosting complex with hyaluronic acid that moisturizes the skin. Now, on the list of ingredients, there is no fragrance listed, and it comes in 28 shades, and it retails for $53. So this is the Chanel Le Teint Concealer, and mine is in the shade BR22, and this is the applicator. So the next contestant in our little concealer showdown contest is the Prada Concealer. This is the Prada Blurring Micro Correcting Concealer, and this is supposed to awaken skin and provide up to 24 hours of medium buildable coverage. It reduces the skin's imperfections. It's supposed to be lightweight and melt into the skin. It provides a blurred and radiant finish. It's supposed to be long wearing. It also reduces the look of dark circles, blemishes, and imperfections. It has an arrow-shaped applicator, and it comes in 21 shades, and according to Prada, this is suitable for sensitive skin, but I would note this does have fragrance listed in the ingredients, so if you're sensitive to fragrance, I would go check it out in the store or maybe just avoid it altogether because it is noted in the ingredient list. It's also infused with peptides and squalane, and it reduces dark circles and signs of fatigue. It comes in 22 shades, so a few less shades than the Chanel, and it retails for $48, so a little bit cheaper than the Chanel Concealer. Okay, so I have 2 shades of the Prada Concealer. I have shades LN2 and LN3. Now, I do have a full review and demo of these on my channel that I just posted. The Prada Concealer, and I know a lot of you are ordering the new Chanel Rouge Noir collection, and you might be picking up the concealer at the same time. So I wanted to get this video up as quickly as possible so I can give you a more complete breakdown of the comparison of the two. So I hope you find that helpful. If you find this helpful, please let me know in the comments down below. So this is the beautiful Prada Concealer. And again, I have shades LN2, LN3. I did ask in my video which shade you thought worked better for me. And most, if not everybody, said LN3. So that's the shade we'll be using in our comparison today. But before we get to our comparison and our little showdown, let me tell you a little information about the Charlotte Tilbury Concealer. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Blur Concealer. This provides a flawless blurring and matte full coverage. It is supposed to also be a natural matte concealer. According to Charlotte Tilbury, This is powered by Powder Blur Air Tech, and it provides up to 24 hours of creaseless wear. It airbrushes dark circles, blemishes, puffiness, texture, pigmentation, redness, pores, and shadows. And it comes in 34 shades with skin morphing pigments that sync to your natural skin tone to neutralize color and erase the look of imperfections. It has a precision micro dot tip. You're supposed to use the wider part of the applicator to swipe, stretch, and then blend, and it retails for $33. Now, it's a little bit strange the way that they had this release roll out. It was available on the Nordstrom website. That's how I was able to get it, but not every shade was. I wanted to get a neutral concealer, but I was only able to get fair, and now it's saying on Nordstrom's that this is sold out. It's not on her website, so hopefully by the time this video comes up or shortly thereafter, they will release this either on Charlotte Tilbury or Sephora or back on Nordstrom with the full shade range so you can pick out which shade is best for you if you decide to pick up this concealer. So let me show you the one from Charlotte Tilbury, Darling. So beautiful Charlotte Tilbury packaging. This is the precision tip. So just to do a very brief overview, the Charlotte Tilbury is the lowest priced out of the three, and it has the most number of shades. It is also the only concealer that promises full coverage. The other two provide medium to full coverage. And while the Chanel lasts up to 12 hours, the Prada and Charlotte Tilbury concealers promise to last up to 24 hours. So now that we have done a little comparison on paper, let's get these concealers on my face and I will tell you my thoughts. We're going to start by comparing Chanel and Prada, and then we will talk about Charlotte Tilbury, Darling. I'll stop saying that now. But let's move on to our little comparison of Chanel and Prada. So just for size comparisons, these are almost identical. The Prada comes with 0.3 ounces of product, while the Chanel comes with 0.29, and the Prada is slightly cheaper, just a few dollars. So technically you're getting more from Prada for less money, but it's not by much. They're pretty much the same. So this is the difference in the packaging. I think they're both beautiful. The Prada has a little bit of an edge to it, a little bit, tiny bit, but they're both beautiful. But we're not buying this concealer for the packaging, let's be honest. We want this to get rid of dark circles, blemishes, imperfections. I'm not saying you have any, but if you do, if you wake up one morning and you have a little imperfection, not saying you do, but if you do, we want this to work on those imperfections. So I'm going to apply Chanel on this side, and then I'm going to apply the Prada on this side, and then we will debrief and talk about which one is best for you out of the two. And just to also show you a comparison of the wands, the Chanel is slightly shorter, and also the Prada seems to be a little bit thicker in size and a little bit of a different shape. The Chanel is much more bent, and the Prada's a little bent too, but I might have bent that. I don't know how I would have done that, but okay, whatever. They're almost the same. I'm going to put the Prada back into a little case so we don't mix anything up. And now we're going to try the Chanel concealer. Okay, so I'm just taking a little dot on the eye. Now, it's important with this concealer that you don't put too much on or don't do two sides at once because it does set down very quickly. And just tapping it in. Now, this concealer is self-setting, so you do not need powder, which is great for us dry skin girlies because I personally don't like to powder under my eyes. I mean, I'll do it sometimes, but I don't prefer it. And this concealer is just very fuss-free. You don't have to do much with it. You just have to make sure that you don't let it dry down before you have time to work it into the skin. So that did a beautiful job of covering up the darkness nicely. Then I'm going to put a little bit more on just so I can show you how it builds up. But you see how you don't need a lot of product? Just a little dot. And I'll put a little up here just to show you. Around the nose. I went a little bit crooked on the nose there. Let's ignore that. I really have been enjoying this concealer so much. As someone with dry skin, get a little bit nervous about formulas like this just because if it's self-setting, you think, dry skin beware. But not the case with this concealer. It's absolutely beautiful. And in case you're curious about any of the makeup I'm wearing, I will list it in the description box below. Just because I don't want to take too much time in this video, we're here only for the concealers. Okay, but you see how nicely that's laying on my dry skin? I'll get a little closer. When I sat back in my chair, how much this perfected, and you can't see the darkness. I have a lot of darkness under my eyes, so this works wonders. And I think it's mature skin friendly, it's dry skin friendly, it lasts all day. I think out of the three, it's the most long lasting I have found in my experience, and I think it's the most perfecting. But if you have dry skin, you may want to be a little bit careful just because, like I said, it does self-set. So my only suggestion would be to hydrate the eye area before you apply this. And I would not put powder on top of it. I would not even bother, even if you have oily skin, unless it's like the middle of the summer and you're that nervous about your makeup coming off. I would not set this with a powder, which is great because it's one less step. Okay, so that's the Chanel Ultra Le Teint Concealer. So let's go in with the LN3 shade of the Prada. And I think with the Prada, one of the most difficult parts is just finding the right shade for you. I think going a little bit deeper with the Prada concealer is a good idea because I found that when I ordered the shade LN2 and LN3, I thought LN2 would be better based on the swatch on the website and the description, but LN3 was a lot better. LN2 didn't cover everything enough. I think it's best for all of these concealers to go into the store and swatch it and see which one works best for you, but if you can't, I understand. I would go a little bit darker on the Prada. I'm looking at these up close in a lit mirror, and I don't know if it's pulling up on camera. I think you see a little bit more of fine lines right here than you do on this side. Just ever so slightly, I'm seeing a little bit more of a fine line there versus this side. I think the Prada is more hydrating. So if you have really, really dry under eyes, you might be happier with the Prada. But they're almost identical upon first application. But the Chanel at the same time, I think does a better job covering these dark circles. I'm going to build it up a little bit just because I built up the Chanel so that they're even. But I think there is a little bit of a slight difference. The difference comes more when you're wearing it throughout the day and, your oils pop through and all that stuff. I don't think the biggest difference is obvious on the first application, but I can tell you from experience wearing these for a few days what my experience has been. Yeah, they're almost identical on first application. So again, this is the Chanel Ultra Le Teint, and this is the Prada. I want to know what you think in the comments. Which do you think provides better coverage? Do you think one is more drying than the other based on what it looks like right now? I know a lot of you are interested in a comparison of these two concealers specifically, so I'm not going to wait till the end of the video to give you that comparison, just because in case you're pressed for time, you want to know the answer to which one is the better concealer. I don't want to make you wait till the end of the video, but I would hope that you would stay till the end of the video to hear my final thoughts on all three together. But if we're comparing these two, I think that my personal favorite is the Chanel concealer because I'm someone that struggles so much with dark circles. Very few concealers ever last on me during the day fully. At some point in the day, I'm getting darkness coming through. And also, I don't like powdering my under eyes because they're dry. So for those two reasons, the Chanel is waterproof if your eyes tear or you just feel like having a good cry in the middle of the day. Not that I ever do that. But if for any of those reasons you need a waterproof concealer, you need something that self-sets, you need something that's full coverage, I think it's the better option out of the two if you have those concerns. However, if you have mature skin or you need something slightly more hydrating, then I think the Prada is a slightly better option. But I do want to caveat, Chanel is not bad for mature skin. My mom has tried both concealers, the Chanel and the Prada, and she really likes both. But her favorite is actually the Chanel too. So it's not that it's bad for mature skin. I just think that if you have very dry under eyes or you don't want any appearance of dryness under the eye, the Prada might be better. You can see like right now, you see how hydrated that looks compared to this. This is a more flat appearance to the concealer. This is slightly more hydrated. But I think throughout the day, the Chanel provides more coverage and longer lasting coverage and stronger coverage. The Prada, you may have to touch up during the day or at least powder, but they're both beautiful options, great for dry skin, great for mature skin as well. So I don't think you can go wrong with either one. But if I had to pick a favorite, I would pick the Chanel based on my specific concerns and needs. But it might be different for you. If you need something more hydrating, you like to set under your eyes. If you like to set under your eyes, don't go with the Chanel. It's not going to work. The sales associate I spoke to at Chanel told me not to. And I think I did try it the other day, setting the under eye with the Chanel. I didn't like it. So if you're someone that has to set under their eyes or you like to set under your eyes, I would go with the Prada. But if you need full coverage, you want something that's self-setting, and you either have oily or dry skin, but you can hydrate it enough, I would go with the Chanel. So those are the main differences that I see between those concealers, but they're pretty close. They're both beautiful. But it's going to be really hard for any company to beat that Chanel concealer because it is absolutely stunning and such a stellar release. Technically for 2025, but for 2026, it's a stellar release, and I can't stop using it. But the Prada is great too. So now we're going to move on to Charlotte Tilbury. I am going to compare that to both the Prada and Chanel. So let's see how that goes. And then I will give you my final thoughts on all three and see who won this unofficial showdown and contest. So I've removed the Chanel from around my nose area and under the eye. So let's try the Charlotte Tilbury. And just like with the Chanel concealer, this concealer is meant to be done in parts because it is a little bit on the thicker side. Now the shade is a little bit lighter than I would have wanted. You see, it's too light. But they did not have all the options on the website, and I wanted to get the product in so I could review it for you guys as quickly as possible. I would have gone with a more neutral shade. What's great about the Charlotte Tilbury is you don't need a lot of product to get a good impact. Hold it there. It's going to drive me crazy. Let me just fix the blush. And the blush that I'm wearing is the new Gucci Glow Blush in the shade Arctic Rose. I've really been loving it. Okay. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury, and this is the Prada. What do we think? Now, upon initial application, I do think that the Charlotte Tilbury provides more coverage. I think it's a nicer finish than the Prada. However, I did do a wear test of this today. I think that the Charlotte Tilbury concealer is beautiful. The only thing I wasn't crazy about was throughout the day, I saw little lines under my eyes that I normally don't see when I wear other concealers. So when I wear the Creal concealer or the Chanel concealer or now the Prada, I didn't see all these little tiny lines under my eyes. And I did see it a little bit today with the Charlotte Tilbury concealer. So in order to apply this foundation, which is not my favorite foundation, it's very thick, I use this Refer brush. This is a spatula prototype blush. And I was able to get this formula to a better consistency than I normally have it, and I did enjoy it more. So it wasn't as thick on my skin. And I also use a different setting spray, which I think helped. I tested out this Say setting spray. This is the City Set Lightweight Setting Spray. And I feel that this brought a lot of hydration back into my face with the setting spray, with the Charlotte Tilbury foundation, with using the spatula brush, and it did help a lot. But I still saw the lines under my eyes. And I think we all want to avoid that issue. So maybe I just didn't hydrate my eyes enough this morning. My skin is extremely dry right now with the cold, so it could be all of those factors. But the other concealers, I don't have that much of a problem with those. The Charlotte Tilbury one, it was full coverage. That was true. I felt like it did last a large part of the day. I just wasn't crazy about the little lines popping through, but it did improve as the day went on. So it wasn't the whole day. It was just a couple times I checked, maybe about 3 or 4 hours in, I was noticing some lines, and then I guess as my natural oils came through, they kind of went away. But that was the only thing I didn't like about it. I liked the coverage. I liked the wear of it. So I do like a lot of parts of it. I just was a little bit disappointed in that aspect of it. So now I'm going to remove the Prada concealer from this side so you can see the Charlotte Tilbury versus the Chanel. And then we will wrap this up with the final thoughts. Okay, so I've removed this side, the Prada side. So now we're going to cover this up with Chanel. And we'll compare it to the Charlotte Tilbury. So just give you one final look before we pop on the Chanel. I hope I'm answering all of your questions that you have regarding these concealers, but if I'm not, please put a question in the comment box below. I would love to help if I can. And also, if you're new to my channel, my name is Courtney. I am so beyond excited that you decided to stop on my channel and watch my video. I hope you're enjoying it. We have a great growing community of beauty lovers and friends on this channel, and I would hope that you would consider subscribing. We have a lot of fun on this channel, and I keep you up to date with all the latest in makeup and beauty. So if you would like to join our growing community, we would seriously love to have you. And just popping that on, a little bit on the nose. You see how that just gives such a beautiful effect on the skin? It's so good. When I saw this concealer in the store, I actually was pretty shocked with the coverage and how it looked on my dry skin without prepping it, without setting it. Just even everything out here. So this is the Chanel side, and this is Charlotte Tilbury. What do we think? You see how the Charlotte Tilbury is just picking up these little lines? So on this side, I have more lines than usual because I have the eye issue. But if you don't look at that, you just look under the eye, right? This, I feel like, is just capturing so many little lines that I normally don't see. So for my dry skin, it's not my absolute favorite, but I do like it. I'll use it. But I think for my dry skin in particular, it's not my favorite for that reason. But comparing these two, the Charlotte Tilbury is cheaper. It does come in more shades, but the Chanel is waterproof and it is self-setting. The Charlotte Tilbury I did not set today just because I wanted to see how it operated without setting, but I did use a setting spray, but I didn't set with powder. I think I probably would have benefited from setting with powder. But then again, with my dryness, I don't know if that would have worked. But that's the difference that I'm seeing between these two. My preference would definitely be the Chanel, between the Chanel and the Charlotte Tilbury concealer. So I just fixed up my bronzer with my new Dior bronzing balm stick, which I love. In closing, my final thoughts are these. I think that the Chanel Ultra Le Teint Concealer and the Prada Concealer are best across the board for all skin types. For dry, normal, combination, or oily. I think the Chanel is slightly better for oily just because it's self-setting than the Prada, but I think any skin type can wear either of those. The Charlotte Tilbury I think is best for oily skin. If you like a thicker concealer, you probably will like the Charlotte Tilbury one, but based on skin type, I think that the Charlotte Tilbury is absolutely the best for oily skin. The Chanel is also good for oily skin because it self-sets, it's full coverage, but I think the Charlotte Tilbury is very good for oily skin. And then going between the Prada and the Chanel, they're both excellent releases. I love both of them. I will use both of them, but I have to give a slight edge to Chanel just because A, it's self-setting. B, to me, it's a little bit more full coverage than the Prada. And even though the Prada is supposed to last up to 24 hours and Chanel is only 12 hours, I found the Chanel to be more long-wearing than the Prada. But they're both beautiful options. But if you guys are forcing me to pick a favorite child out of those two, I will have to give it to Chanel by this much, maybe this much. That much. But again, they're both beautiful. Charlotte Tilbury does have more shade options, which is great. But if we're talking about formula, we're talking about across the board applicability, I think that the Chanel is the best, with Prada second and Charlotte Tilbury being third. So I hope that you found this helpful. Please let me know in the comments down below if you have questions. Again, I tried to cover all the bases, but if you have any questions or you want to talk, you want to get my opinion on something, whatever it may be, please put it down in the comments below. And also, please just come say hi. I love to know that you are here. I love chatting with you guys in the comments. You are the best, most supportive, and kindest community. And every positive comment that you guys leave just makes my day. And I hope you know how much I appreciate you taking time to watch my content and to let me know that you enjoy it, or just saying hi. It really means the world to me. So thank you so much. And if you're not subscribed already, I would really hope that you would consider joining our community of beauty lovers and friends. We really all support each other here. And more importantly, we have a lot of fun. We talk about all new makeup releases. We exchange ideas. We bounce ideas off each other. It's a lot of fun. So if you were to subscribe, welcome. We are so happy to have you. And I wish you a blessed day. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.